welcome to Home Designs by Amanda. Today we're going to do a Bible journaling of 1 Samuel 22-23. I was reading through this yesterday, and I decided that I wanted to Bible journal it, even though it's not one that you really would think of as Bible journaling. And the verse is, "Abide thou with me, fear not, for he that seeketh my life seeketh thy life, but with me thou shalt be in safeguard." So I decided that I think I want to do a door, and I'll kind of tell you why I decided that here in a minute. But I want to do a door, but I also wanted flowers, because I was thinking, well, not every Bible journaling entry needs to be all that what do I want to say, detailed. It doesn't have to be all fancy and stuff like that. But I think this one's going to end up a little fancier than I expected. But that's okay too. Just because of how I decided to go ahead and do it. I wanted a bunch of, not necessarily a bunch of flowers, but just like some simple flowers. But what I want to do is I'm going to take this one stamp from the Petal Palette stamp set from Stampin' Up. And I'm going to go ahead, and I want it to kind of look like it's more of a viney thing going down the doorway. This door is from the At Home With You stamp set from Stampin' Up as well. They do have a door covering, but that's a Christmas one, so I don't really want that. I want just flowers. So I'm going to take this one and stamp it a few times, and then I'm going to also make a mask to go over them, so that the door looks like it's behind the flowers, not on top of the flowers. So I'm going to work on that, and then we'll come back and talk about a few things as we do some of the other coloring and stamping and stuff. So here's my mask, and it's not going to be exactly perfect because obviously if you were watching it was definitely me just stamping very closely back and forth from the Bible to the journaling page. So I'm kind of off just a little bit, but I think it's going to be close enough that we're not going to have too many issues. And it does look like I might need to do just some quick little masks here for the corner. Like that one, I can just do that and that would be fine. I'm going to rip that off and just kind of do the similar thing right down here, because actually our door bottom is going to probably be up above there anyway. So I'm going to just push that down there and go ahead and do my door. So I am doing it in Memento black ink because I want to do some coloring with my watercolor pencils, and probably use a blender pen to smooth those out in my coloring. So with this verse, I just thought, I read it yesterday with my reading, and I'll just give you a little background first on what's going on in this chapter, this time frame in David's life. And it was that David was running from Saul, and he was seeking to kill, because Saul was seeking to kill David. And David had gotten away and had gone to see the one priest. Hold on a second, I'm paying attention to this. Okay. Oh, and I didn't stamp that off, so hopefully it's not too dark. Oh, that's good. Okay. So that's what I was going for. So David had gone to see the one priest, Ahimelech. And then Saul found out that David had gone to Ahimelech, and Ahimelech had let David go. He kind of like helped him and got him, hit him and that kind of a thing. And so Saul got mad. and ordered that Ahimelech and all the other priests and those in his family be killed. And however, the one son was Abiathar, got out. He got away, and he went to where David was hiding out, and David welcomed Abiathar in with him. And that was this verse here, though. Abide thou with me, fear not, for he that seeketh my life seeketh thy life. But with me thou shalt be in a safeguard. And I just like that he was welcoming of another guy that was fleeing because of Saul. And and then in this verse it shows how, although David was being chased, to be killed, he knew that God was going to take care of him and would keep him safe, and those with him would be safe as well. So he was just really showing his faith here, I think. And let's see here. I'm going to do some coloring while I continue to talk about what I got out of this verse. It was just so exciting how I saw some things that you wouldn't always think of. Okay, let me grab my color pencils. These are my old set. I do have a new set, I just have not used them yet. I used them for in some pictures, but I haven't gotten them out of the container yet otherwise. And then this is a blender pen that I'll be using as well for putting the colors together. I'm going to get my background piece out of the way since I'm not stamping right now. But I looked at this verse from a slightly different perspective as well. I was looking at it with the thoughts of, if we're abiding, David told Abiathar, get the right person, that if he was with him, Abiathar would be safe. And so he knew that he was a safeguard to him. And I just thought that if we can be in a safeguard if we are abiding with others that are holding to the faith and are strong and earnestly seeking God, that we can be safe with them in defeating our enemy. Their enemy was Saul. Our enemy, well, Saul and the devil, but our enemy is the devil. And if we're abiding with others that are like-minded and seeking God, we can know that we can have safety in that, and we can have safety in abiding in God as well. And if you look at the beginning of the verse, it's abide thou with me, fear not. So if we're abiding with Christ, we don't have to fear. We can know that we're with him. And it kind of reminds me of like John 15 too, that if you abide in Christ, he'll keep thee and hold on to thee. And that Jesus is our safeguard, and he's going to keep us safe. So I just thought that was pretty neat to get some of that stuff out of this one verse about Abiathar running from Saul and coming to see David, and David taking him in. And Jesus takes us in when we run to him. So I'm going to just do some coloring here. And I used the door because I thought that like you abide in your house. And so I was just thinking kind of like abiding, and he was welcomed in. There is actually even a welcome mat here. I didn't leave room for the welcome mat. But that would be cute to also put in here, or maybe even just write welcome up here and then write out with some of the verse or something like that. Or put the welcome mat up there, because you don't necessarily need to, it just looks like it has a box around it if you didn't know that it was a welcome mat. So for the verse, writing the verse out, I'll probably do abide thou with me, fear not, and then with me thou shalt be in a safeguard. I'll probably do those two sections of it if they fit. but I just liked the abiding. I've thought of a house and you live there and you stay there, and that's where you're usually safe most of the time. So that's why I went with the door. Alright, so that was Rich Razzleberry if you use the Stampin' Up! Colors. I'm going to use probably a little Calypso Coral and Melon Mambo as well. Blend those together, and then I'll use the Old Olive on the leaves. And for a yellow door. Brown just sounds so blah, and I don't think my brown is in a different spot anyway. And I don't really want a blue one. So I think I might do a yellow door. So we'll do a little yellow with some pumpkin pie, a little Daffodil Delight and pumpkin pie. If you're using these colors, not just a yellow and an orange. I'm going to blend those together a little bit. All colored in here. I'm gonna now take my blender pen and try and smooth out the different colors. I may be going back in after I do the blender pen with some of the colors again to maybe make them a little bit more vibrant. Probably definitely on the flowers because they seem to have gotten washed out a little bit, and I want them to be a little bit more vibrant than they are at the moment. And I did find my brown pen or my brown colored pencil in my bag so that I could go ahead and do some. I wanted to do a little bit of like shading behind the flowers. Is kind of why I pulled that out to do that. To kind of make it look like they're not just floating in thin air. To make them more look like they might be in front of the house that is attached to the door. And I tried to smooth this out here as much as possible too, to kind of just look like it's fading off a little bit. But I don't want to get too heavy-handed with this because it is like, you know, it's a blender pen, so it's similar to water, but it's not as it's not as wet. Took a little longer than I had expected, but I really liked the way it's turning out. So now I'm going to just go ahead and up here, I'm going to start with Abide Thou With Me, Fear Not, and see how much I can fit into up there. Bible journaling for today. The watercolor pencils and blender pen seem to work a little differently around the lettering than it did on the coloring down here. And it took longer than I expected, but I really like the way it turned out. It's very, it is still on it seems still on the simple side, even though it took longer. But I really like how the flowers are in the house, door, and things, and so I just really like that. I hope you enjoyed this Bible journaling episode and that you subscribe to my channel, and I'll be back with more Bible journaling episodes, as well as hopefully some cards and miscellaneous other crafty kind of videos. Thank you for coming to create with me today, and I hope you come back again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye!